Hey guys, Joe here, the guy who said Brand should definitely be king. And I'm here to talk about UFC Fight Night, Spivak versus Lewis, and it just wasn't great. But anyways, I'm here, so enough talk. Let's just get to the fights.
Baby, I will be your ever-loving fan. Give me the drink, I really
And in our main event, we had Sergey Spivak versus Derrick Lewis, the main event of the night. And it happened so late at night because the main card started at midnight over here. And I'm guessing it had to be because of, like, I think it was called the Road to the UFC Finals. I think it sounded like it was like a Contender Series or Ultimate Fighter-esque kind of tournament for Asian prospects, from what I was understanding. It's funny, I don't think I've ever heard of it until last night. Getting my hardcore, MMA fan pass revoked, but yeah, I don't think I ever heard of it. It was super weird. I'm not an expert. I think it did it to like kind of line up with their time zone better, but I'm not an expert on time zones, so I could be just completely wrong. So let me know in the comments if I'm wrong or right, if you know anything about that. I legitimately never heard of it. I don't know why. I didn't know it was going to be late until the day of, so, whatever. But on to the main event, of course. So we had the Black Beast, Derrick Lewis. He's on a skid, but it's still Derrick Lewis, right? He's the heavyweight KO king, but Spivak is a very young and tough challenge with just aggressive grappling. Wants to throw you down on the ground, use his strength to get there, and just beat you up. The Moldovan fighter just wants to just beat you up on the ground and tap you out, And I really hated this matchup for Derrick Lewis. I was like, him? I mean, like, he knocked out, like, Olenek. Did he knock out Blagoy Ivanov? I don't remember. But, I've also seen him, like, kind of squeak out wins against, like, Ilir Latifi at heavyweight, who had a similar style in a sense. So I really didn't like this matchup at all. So the fight, how did it play out? Basically, Spivak just was throwing him in the clinch. They tied up super early and just got him down multiple times. Lewis kept getting up, but he just kept taking him back down over and over. I think he, like, even dropped him on his head at one point. It's ridiculous. And then he, sinks in an arm triangle and wins. Complete and utter domination from the Moldovan fighter. With DC's prediction of Derrick Lewis never being near the top of the division ever again, looking truer and truer, sadly, which sucks because, who isn't like Derrick Lewis, fan favorite? He's awesome. He's great. I like watching him fight. I'm sure you guys like watching him fight. He got some of the most iconic lines ever. So, and, you kind of need him to say those in the post-fight win, So, it's a little rough. But, and honestly, I don't really know what you do with him now. Do you undercard him to kind of make room for these up-and-coming, like these up-and-coming heavyweight guys? Like, let's give guys on, like, losing skids that are falling off, headlining spots. Or do you utilize his popularity and leave him headlining Apex cards forever? Or do you go the Andrei Arlovsky route where you just have him be on the main card of Apex cards? I don't know. It's kind of a weird thing. From a business point, it makes sense to put him on Apex cards, headlining forever. But on the other hand, it's like, dude, other guys deserve this spot. Like, come on. But I don't know. It's crazy. But for Spivak, honestly, I think I want to see him fight Gelton Almeida. I'm probably saying his first name right. Gelton Almeida. To kind of force an answer for that same old kind of style from Almeida. Snap, push kick into a double leg over and over. Maybe this will cause him to see more of his game. Maybe what can you do if that gameplay doesn't work? Is it going to keep working at this level? Like, I think stuff like this would be great. But honestly, the rest of this card wasn't really great. There were some cool moments on the prelims, but there was one fight on the main card that did catch my eye, and it was Do Hoo Choi versus Kyle Nelson. This fight went to a draw because of an unintentional foul. I think it was a headbutt, if I remember correctly. I was watching one when I woke up this morning. I was sick yesterday. And it was an unintentional headbutt and a foul in the last round of the fight. It wasn't a bad fight. I thought it was actually a pretty good fight. Some good grit shown by Nelson, because he knew after the foul, if he wins the round, it's a 10-8 round. So if it's a 10-8 round, he can win that round, force a judge's decision, and it'll go to the draw. Because he clearly lost the first 2 rounds. Everyone kind of knows that. And in digging deep, it's always something I really like seeing. I think it's always cool. It shows like the heart and determination, all that stuff. It's the same reason we like Forrest Griffin, Frankie Edgar, all these guys. So I always like seeing it, even here on just a random undercard, or not a random main card fight on an Apex card. It's great. It's great seeing it from all levels of fighters. I love it. That said, I don't know if I agree with the third round going to Nelson. I was kind of like, I could see Doo Ho Choi winning that third round still, or at least forcing it to be a 9-9. But that said, at least it wasn't a loss, but at the same time, having a draw must suck as well. Especially when it comes down to just because of a loss of a point from an unintentional foul. It's got to be super rough. Especially for Doo Ho Choi, he's coming back. It's a guy who had a lot of crazy hype on him. The Cub Swanson fight is unbelievable still. If you haven't seen it, he had a ton of hype coming on him. And best of luck to the futures for both of them, honestly, because Kyle Nelson, I've seen him in interviews, really nice guy. Seems like a really cool, chill guy. Finally, I don't really normally cover Bellator cards here, but man, this UFC card did not do it for me. So instead, I want to use my time to talk about the legend himself, Fedor Emilianenko, who retired. And Fedor started his career in 2000. I was 5 years old. In May of 2000, I was 5. Birthday's in June, so plan something nice for me, guys. But anyways, he had this legendary career where he went 31-1-1, with his only loss at that time being because of a cut, and they were in the promotion rings, and they were in a tournament. I believe it was a one-night tournament. So because of the rules, it was a cut. All right, you can't proceed, so we got to give you a loss because we're in a tournament. So, kind of a thing, which he later avenged in Pride. He suffered his first true loss to Fabricio Verdum in 2010, which did cause a downslide for him. But at the end of the day, he was still putting on some pretty good performances, even after this downslide in his career, and he put on great fights. That 3-fight losing streak everybody loves to talk about was first to Verdum by a triangle choke, then to Bigfoot Silva, and then in one of my favorite fights ever, like one-round little brawls, is another legend himself, Dan Hendo Henderson, and him went at it. It's insane fight. But again, still a great performance from Fedor, but right before the knockout. Here is a list of names on his record that he's just beaten. Rampage Jackson, undefeated, undisputed Chael Sonnen, Frank Mir, Pedro Hizzo, Andrei Arlovsky, Tim Sylvia, Mark Hunt, Mark Coleman, Krokop, Big Nog, Kazuyuki Fujita, Hinato Sobral or Babalu, and Ricardo Arona. That's not even counting. Those are just guys he's fought or beaten. Not just who he's fought. Because he's lost to some other great names as well. Like Ryan Bader is putting on a pretty decent little career in the Bellator, which say what you want, it's Bellator, I totally get it. But still, unbelievable career. Many people say that Fedor is the greatest heavyweight of all time. He was number 1 GOAT contender for years on years and years. And while I disagree with him being the greatest heavyweight fighter of all time, it's still a big consensus. I'm obviously in the minority here. I personally pick Stipe. But man, I just love that career overall. I seriously cannot wait to cover a Pride event on the Retro Review. And God, I hope he's on that card. It's so awesome. The dude is an absolute legend. Deserves all the respect in the world. And, best of luck in retirement if there's any chance he sees this. Best of luck in retirement. You're easily one of the greatest ever. And one of the guys that fueled my love for MMA. When I was a kid watching professional wrestling and MMA, mostly Pride, I remember specifically going as a kid, I was watching a lot of professional wrestling. Didn't quite know, if you know what I mean. And I remember thinking, I wonder who'd win in a fight between Fedor and Stone Cold Steve Austin. 2 bald dudes that were the baddest guys on the planet to me. I specifically remember wondering who would win. It's just how much he kind of influenced my childhood. Him and Vanderlei Silva for sure for me. But that's it for me. Be sure to check out the preview show where me and Carl broke down UFC 284. I not to toot my own horn, but I really like the points I brought up for Volkanovski and Islam. I think that matchup is really, really interesting and much more competitive than a lot of people are probably thinking. And also, it is a pay-per-view week. So, Retro Review comes out. I'm actually really excited. I liked making it. I worked hard on it. I loved making it. So I hope you guys enjoy it. I had a lot of fun with that one. I'll also be here next week on time. Sorry. I want to apologize now because I was a little sick on the preview show yesterday, and it just got worse as the day progressed. And then I had to stay up late to watch the card. I was not feeling great, so I just rested throughout. But I will be here to recap UFC 284 on time. I'm Joe with the INC. Thank you for watching.